everybody, it's Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. How are you guys today? I am bringing you my 7th video on the Easter Friends stamp set, and it's kind of bittersweet, right? I enjoy making three-dimensional projects. I enjoy making boxes and treat packages and those kinds of projects, and I guess it's coming to an end for this week anyway, and so it is a little bittersweet, but I hope that you have enjoyed all the videos on this Easter Friends stamp set. It is an amazing stamp set. These images are gorgeous. I love the font on the words, and I hope that you will consider purchasing this stamp set from me. The link will be in the description below. Let's go ahead and look at our little box here. See this cute bow on top? Well, I was at Target. Don't mind the crinkling. I have to pull it out of paper. And I was in their dollar spot, and I came across this adorable mini gnome statue. And it was just $1 in their Target dollar spot. Let me see if I can pull this sticker off of here without causing too much of a fuss anyway. Anyway, I thought, oh, that is so cute. I have to make a box for this little gnome to live in. And so I brought him home with me. Well, when I was trying to figure out what stamp set I wanted to use, I decided that the bunny would be perfect. I always picture the little creatures of the forest kind of hopping around and the little gnomes ducking behind their little mushrooms and such while these creatures roam around them. And so I just thought that this bunny would be perfect. So here he is, and he's just a little miniature gnome, perfect for a little gift for a friend that likes to garden, especially around Easter. You're starting to prepare and do things in your garden and get things ready for the weather breaking. So at least in the States. So let's go ahead and get started, and I will show you how to make this adorable little gnome box. All right, let me get my pieces. We're gonna do a lid, and we're gonna do the bottom of the box. And so we're starting with a piece of just cardstock here. This is 6.5 by 9, and this is for the bottom of the box. And we are going to be covering the bottom of the box with the Pansy Petals Designer Series paper. I thought this paper was really pretty and would work really well on the box. I started by measuring the gnome, and as you can see, he's a little wider than he is deep, or, you know, from front to back, he's wider this way. So I couldn't make a square box. It had to be rectangle in nature. And I just had to figure out how to make it work. So I took my little gnome and I measured his size and tried to figure out what was the best way to put this box together. Now, when you make a lid on a box, you don't want it to be the same size or else it won't fit down on it. So it has to be just slightly larger. And so I had to figure out how to do that on a box that wasn't the same on this side as it was this side. This box measures 2 inches in this direction and 2.5 inches in this direction. So the front and the back are 2.5 and the sides are 2 inches. So when you do that and you try and make your box top a little wider, it's a little harder to do. And because our Simply scoreboard goes by 1/8 of an inch, and I didn't want the top of the box, the lid, to be really loose, I went ahead and decided to use my paper trimmer instead for all of my measuring. So since I don't use it very often, you'll have to bear with me as I work on it with you, and hopefully everything will fit in the camera here. So I'm going to move the box out of the way temporarily and bring my scoreboard over here, and hopefully I'll be able to open it and you'll be able to see all my marks. I'm going to go ahead and pull the ruler open. And as you can see here, when I put it at the start line, that my designer series paper is 9.5 inches. Here's the halfway mark, 9 and 10. Here's the halfway mark. When you use your paper trimmer, you can go 1/16 of an inch, whereas on the Simply Scored, you can only go 1/8 of an inch. So what I have done was pull out my stylus for my Take Your Pick tool, and on this end that has the pointy or the spatula end, you can swap it out and attach this stylus instead. And that's what we're going to be doing. So let's go ahead and score this bottom of the box. Now the bottom of the box could be scored easily on the Simply Scored tool, but I just wanted to go ahead and score the entire piece with the trimmer. So just bear with me if I fumble around a little bit. When I designed the project, I made the bottom with the Simply Scored and the top with the paper trimmer, and I just didn't want it to be confusing for you guys, and so I decided to try it all on this. So this is my first time doing it all on the paper trimmer, so hopefully I'm not going to mess up. All right, let's go ahead and get started. So we are going to score it at 1/2 of an inch. So I'm going to start it here at 1/2. I'm going to bring the trimmer down, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this. I'm actually going to take the skinnier side here. In this slot here of the trimmer, where this kind of where the blade would run, and I'm gonna score it at 1/2 an inch, and then the next score is at 2.5 inches. Again, my Yorkie's in here with me, so if you hear her, she is sleeping right now, and I think she's having a dream. So don't mind her. She is my little sidekick. Okay, so now let's go at the 2.5 inch mark, and we're just gonna go ahead and put that in. And then we're gonna go to the 5 inch mark. So here it is, the 5 inch. And then the 7 inch mark. All right. Now, we are also going to score, whoops, on the short side, which means on this side. I had it in the first time at the long end. So now we're going to bring the short end here, and we are going to score it at the 2 inch mark. So I'm going to put this in at the 2 inch. And you can see the short side is running down the ruler here. And we're going to go ahead and score it at the 2 inch mark. So this forms the bottom of our box. I hope you can see all the score marks. So I have a thin piece here, and then I have these sections, and these are different than these. This is the front and the back of the box, and these are the sides. So that is that piece. Let's go ahead and try and score the top, and hopefully this is going to work out. And if it doesn't, please just be kind. Okay, so now this piece is 3 inches by 9.5 inches. So it's the same size width as the top, which was 6.5 by 9.5. It's just going to have a slightly smaller piece here. So we are going to start doing 2.5 inches first. So we'll put this in at 2.5. We're working a little bit backwards. And this first one is going to be actually right at 2.5 inches. I'm actually going to take it 1/16 past the 2.5 inches. So I'm going to go to 2.5, and then I'm going to take it one little tick mark beyond that. And I'm going to go ahead and bring this down so that I have a guide to run my blade through. Okay, so that's the 2.5. And then it's going to go at 4.5. So we'll bring it to the 4.5, and we went a tick behind it. So this time we're going to go another tick behind it. So it's just going to be slightly bigger. So at the 4.5 inch. So we're going to move it, like I said, a little bit over, kind of giving it that room that it needs so that it's a little bit bigger. And then we're going to go to the 7-inch mark. And then again, like I said, we definitely want it to be a little bit wider. So we're going to take it just a little bit past that. And then the last mark is going to be at the 9-inch. So I'm going to take it to the 9-inch, and then I'm just going to bring it a little bit past that again. And now this will leave my little tab less than the 1/2 inch that it was on the first side. So on this one, it's a full 1/2 inch, and you can see that it's a lot shorter this time, but that's okay. We needed that wiggle room on the entire box so that it would fit over the top. So that is that. And now we have to score it in this direction here at the 1-inch mark. So we're going to bring it 1 inch because that's how far it sits down. I'm going to go ahead and drop this. And this one is accurate on the 1 inch. All right. So there is my top of my box. I'm going to go ahead and switch my stylus back out for my pointy tip because I may need that when I am doing the rest of the crafting. But it is nice that we do have that stylus end. All right. Let's go ahead and burnish on all the sides. And when we're burnishing, we want to make sure that we hold those sides even so that our score marks are even. It's easy to get a little bit off. And so if we make sure that we are top and bottom of our paper, then we should be good to go. Let's do this last one. All right, so the bottom is burnished nicely. Let's go ahead and do the top. And one more. All right, guys, I appreciate your patience on this. Okay, so what we're gonna do is on the top, the lid, we're just gonna get rid of this piece right here, nothing else. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim this away. Actually, I'm gonna grab my scissor that I like to use when I cut a little bit wider blade rather than my paper snips. And we're gonna get rid of this piece right here. And I'm gonna lay it down so that you guys can see. And then we're going to trim in on these. This is the actual lid. This is the top of the lid. So we're going to go ahead and trim down. Whoops. Didn't mean to drop that. And I like to go on one side of the score mark and then the other side to give it a little bit more room for the paper to fit when you start bending these inwards. Okay. Oh, it looks like I trimmed that a little bit too much, but I'll also go ahead and fix that. All right. And then we're going to trim on this side of the score mark and then the other that gives you that a little bit of space in the middle. You'll see when I lay it down for you guys to look at it. You'll be able to get your screenshots here in a second. All right, let's pull that piece out. All right, so here's the lid. And you can see that when I do that, it gives us a little bit of cut in here. This is going to be the piece that wraps around and is the lid. And then these pieces here are going to fold in and like so. And then that forms the lid of our box, okay? So let's go ahead and put this down again for you to grab a screenshot. There you go. So we're gonna cut this away and then cut up these. All right, let's move on to the bottom of the box. For the bottom of the box, we're getting rid of this piece right here. So I'm gonna go ahead and trim in and this way. We'll get rid of that. And then we're gonna trim here. This is the actual box, and then this is the bottom. So I'm going to, like I did with the top, I'm going to go ahead and trim on either side of that score mark and kind of make that little space that I like to have in there. And one more. All right, and if you want to grab a screenshot of that, you may. So we're just getting rid of this piece and then cutting up on these. All right, let's go ahead and glue our paper. We're going to grab our designer series paper and we're going to glue that into place. We'll start with the bottom of the box. So we're going to glue our pieces, which you have two of them are 1 7/8 by 4 3/8, and two of them are 2 3/8 by 4 3/8. So the skinny ones go on the skinny pieces, and the wider ones go on the wider sections of the box. So that's where they belong. So let me grab my silicone mat. You know, I like to use that whenever we have wet adhesive. And I may need to start a new bottle while we're in the middle of this because this one has been trying to run low on me for a while. So we'll see if it makes it through this project or not. But I'm gonna give it some wiggles, and then, you know, I like to get close to the edge. So let's go ahead and attach this piece first. And it's just gonna give us a very slight border around. There we go. Piece number 3. And then I'm going to do the top of the box before I decide to attach this bottom section together. I'll get all the designer series paper attached. So there's that one. One more to go on the bottom. All right. Let's move this out of the way and we will do the top. So these are the pieces that are going to get the designer series paper. So we will do, now this one has 5 pieces. So the designer series paper, there's one that's for the top of the lid. I'm going to save that till the end. We'll glue that last. And it's 2 3/8 by 1 7/8. That's by itself. And then you have 2 that are 7/8 by 1 7/8 and 2 that are 7/8 by 2 3/8. because remember, we have the shallow sides and then we have the wider sides. And so we're gonna go ahead and glue those on. And there'll be a little bit wider border on the sides of these because we had to leave that extra room in order to have the box lid fit over the top. I really love this paper, and you can see that this green stripe is the one side of the designer series paper and the floral is the other side. So it's nice, you just use the one sheet to do this box. And this is from the Pansy Petals. So we'll glue this one down. And the last one. And then we'll do the top of the box at the very end. I will go ahead and adhere the lid together after I'm done with these pieces here. So this tab here is how the lid gets attached. So I'm going to put a little bit of adhesive on this tab, and then I'm going to turn it in like that, and I'm going to bring this side to it. And we're going to join that at the seam like so. And I'm just going to make sure that this is scored properly. There we go. All right. And if there's any trimming to be done, I will go ahead and take care of that. There we go. I think I was just a tiny bit off on that score line when I cut that. All right, so that's the top. And now we will, wherever it was glued in, I have to find it now. Okay, that's the back of the box. So we're gonna put these two sides in. This one's gonna cross over. You can see that they're not entirely equal, and that's because the sides are shorter than the top, but we can still put adhesive on there, and we're going to hold it square. I'm going to turn this over, and then I will use my bone folder to press it into place, and then we're going to do the same thing. Now this is the front, so it will go last, so I'm going to put adhesive on this whole surface, and then I will bring this one in. I think my puppy is having, well, she's not really a puppy. I just call her that, but I think she's having a dream. Okay, and then the last one. Her name is Gidget, and she's really sweet. All right, so there is that. Now we can attach to the top of the box. So I have this piece, which I told you before was 2 3/8 by 1 7/8. And then that one is going to go right there. All right, put that to the side. Let's go ahead and attach our box together. Same thing. We're going to put adhesive on this tab. I think I might be out. I might have to pull another one out. I think I've reached the end. Let's see. If there, oh, there's something in there. All right, I don't know if it's enough to make it. All right, let me just pull another one so you're not sitting here watching me. Let's just open another adhesive. All right, there we go. This one's gonna be plenty. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and put that on this tab here. It's just a longer version of the one that was on the lid. And we're gonna turn that in. And then we're gonna line this up with it. And like I said, you wanna make sure that you are on that score mark there. If not, your box will not bend properly. And then you just use your bone folder to really press that into place and then get that to adhere, that nice seam. All right, so there is our box. Again, we're going to put these sides in first. And just like the top, they're a little short. So I will put this one down, and then I will flip it over. And I will press with my bone folder. This is the front of the box right here. So the next one to go in will be this. This is the back. And we'll press that one into place. And now the front. I got a little happy there with the adhesive, but it'll be okay. I'm just gonna turn it this way and press that into place. All right, very fun. So this is where the little gnome goes. See how cute he fits in there? Perfect. Just perfect. Okay. And now comes the moment of truth. Did I do it correctly? We will soon see. Will the lid go on? And yes, it will. Perfect. Worked out perfect. All the sides. Not bad for doing it the first time on a trimmer. I hope that you guys will experiment and try it. If I could make it happen, so can you. Okay, so now on this front of this lid, I want to do Happy Easter, and I did already stamp it with the stamps that are in the Easter Friends set. I'll pull that out so you can see. I'm going to use my paper snips, and I'm going to angle cut those ends right there, and then this is going to get attached directly onto the box. And I'm going to go ahead and use my wet glue. There we go. Put that on right there. That looks very nice, and that's in soft sea foam. It was just a scrap piece of cardstock that I used, but let's see how wide it is. Looks like it is about 5/8 of an inch, maybe a tiny bit more. And well, before I cut it, it was probably about 3 inches. So there's our Happy Easter. Let's go ahead and grab our ribbon. I don't know how long it is either, but we're gonna see. Let's get a big ruler out. So it is 12, 24, 25 inches. So I'm going to tie this from the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and put the box on there, and I'm going to bring this up even. And I'm just going to make sure it's straight. And then we're just going to tie a bow at the top. This ribbon is so pretty. It's polished pink, and it's the open weave organdy in color. It's the in color ribbon. It's so beautiful, and the color name is Polished Pink. If you type Polished Pink ribbon into my online store, it'll come up, but I will also link it in the description below so that if you'd like to purchase some, you can. I really think this ribbon is beautiful. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to pull on this one a little bit more. Make it just slightly longer. There we go. That looks good to me. Let's trim the ends. I'm going to grab my paper strips. And this one. There we go. Take those away. And then on the front, we're going to add the bunny like I have on this one. And I have cut him, stamped him in our Memento Black, and then I colored him with the Cinnamon Cider Light and Dark blends. If you have questions about how to color with blends, just put a comment below. I'd be happy to help you with that. We're going to use Stampin' Dimensionals to pop him up off the box. So here we go. I wonder what my puppy is doing. Come here, Gidge. Oh, she's waking up and stretching. I think she's warm. We've kind of had a heat wave. Maybe she wasn't dreaming and I just wasn't paying attention to her. We're kind of having a heat wave here, but she'll be fine. Here's her water to drink. All right. So there are the dimensionals, and I'll use the pointed end. I knew I would need that again. I'll pull these off. I love to pull them off with my take your pick tool. I'm going to go ahead and deposit those into my trash can and not onto my floor. And then we will add our bunny right here to the front. There it is, a little darker the first time I colored it. And there is the bow on top. I hope that you've enjoyed me putting together this box for you. It certainly was fun to do that, and I hope that you will subscribe to my channel so that you get lots more content. I do make lots of 3D items. It's probably my favorite thing to do. Also cards, and I have classes to go. Just contact me if you have any questions or there's anything that you need. I'd be happy to help you. And if you do not have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. You can send me an email to the email that I have in the description below. Thank you for watching, and definitely check out my blog where I do blog every day at inkyhandswarmhearts.com. There's always lots of inspiration there for you, and I appreciate your time. Thanks again for watching. This is Kelly with Inky Hands Warm Hearts. Happy stamping!